The tournament started out with a light rain and a little bit of wind. The temperature was in the low 50s. The forecast was for winds blowing 15 to 25 miles per hour and gusting to 40. The course was set up to play 5,811 yards, par 72. Number 10 is a 335-yard dogleg left, par 4, with a small creek that crosses the fairway about 260 yards out and trees lining both sides of the fairway. The second shot is to a very narrow, deep green. I hit a 3 hybrid down the right side of the fairway to about 140 yards out. My 8-iron shot ended up about 10 feet from the hole, slightly past and to the right of the hole. I really thought I had made the putt, but left it hanging on the lip. Number 11 is a 113-yard par 3 guarded by 2 large bunkers in the front of the green on both sides. I pulled my pitching wedge, leaving me with about a 40-foot putt from the left side of the green. I was able to two-putt from there for par. Number 12 is a straightaway 483-yard par 5 with a large fairway bunker about 210 yards off the left side of the fairway, a creek that crosses in front of the green, and a bunker that guards the left front of a very wide, shallow green. My driver went down the right side of the fairway about 270 yards from the hole. From there, I laid up with an iron to about 100 yards out on the right side of the fairway. My gap wedge from there came up about 8 feet short of the green. However, my chip from there finished about 18 inches from the hole, and I tapped that in for par. Number 13 is a dogleg left 344-yard par 4 with a fairway bunker about 160 yards off the left side of the dogleg and another fairway bunker on the right side of the fairway, about 250 yards off the tee. There are trees down the left side of the fairway starting about 210 yards off the tee to prevent cutting too much off the dogleg. The wind was blowing in my face, so I hit driver and carried it over the bunker on the left side of the fairway, ending up in the middle of the fairway, about 90 yards out. My gap wedge from there finished up about 4 to 5 feet short of the hole, and I made the putt for a birdie.
Good job, babe.
Number 14 is a 130-yard par 3 with a lake fronting the entire right front and side of the green. I hit an 8-iron to about 4 to 5 feet from the hole. Unfortunately, my birdie putt missed just right of the hole, and I tapped in for an easy par. Number 15 is a straightaway 463-yard par 5 with a large bunker guarding the left side of the fairway about 210 yards off the tee. My driver carried the bunker on the left, and the ball ended up in the left side of the fairway about 210 yards from the hole. My second shot was a 3 hybrid that hooked a little bit and ended up left of the green, about even with the front of the green. I hit a 54-degree sand wedge from about 30 yards out, and the ball stopped about 8 to 10 feet below the hole. My birdie putt missed just left of the hole, and I tapped in for a par. Number 16 is a straightaway 371-yard par 4 with a large, deep bunker guarding the left side of the fairway about 205 yards off the tee, and another bunker guarding the right side of the fairway about 260 yards off the tee. The second shot is uphill to a fairly large green guarded by 2 bunkers on the left side. I hit another good drive down the right center of the fairway to about 135 yards out. I hit an 8-iron to about 5 to 6 feet from the hole. I missed the birdie putt just right of the hole and tapped in for another par. Number 17 is a 139-yard par 3 with a large bunker guarding the right side of the green and a creek left of the green. And I hit a 9-iron to the back left portion of the green, about 25 to 30 feet from the hole. My first putt came up about 3 to 4 feet short, and I missed the putt to the right of the hole for a bogey, 4. Number 18 is a 450-yard par 5 with a large lake down the left side of the fairway coming into play about 220 yards out and crossing the fairway about 280 yards off the tee. I hit a good drive down the center of the fairway, stopping just at the end of the fairway and short of the creek. From about 180 yards out, I hit a solid 5-iron about 15 to 20 feet past the hole and 2-putted from there for a birdie. Number 1 is a 362-yard dogleg left par 4, with a creek crossing the fairway about 240 yards off the tee. The second shot is uphill to a green guarded by a large bunker on the front left side. As we reached this hole, the wind had started to pick up to 15 to 20 miles per hour and seemed to be in our faces, so I hit a driver off the tee. Unfortunately, the wind did not affect my shot like I thought and went into the creek crossing the fairway. I dropped short of the creek, about 140 yards out, and I hit my approach shot, which came up short of the green. I hit a wedge from about 30 yards out and ended up about 6 feet past the hole. The putt went just right of the hole, and I tapped in for a double bogey. Number 2 is a 398-yard par 4 with a slight dogleg right with water down the left side of the hole, and a large fairway bunker on the right side of the fairway about 270 yards out. The wind continued to pick up and switched around to be more behind on this hole. I hit a solid drive down the middle with about even with the fairway bunker about 100 yards out. My wedge from there went a few feet left of the green. I chipped up about 4 feet past the hole and made the putt for a par. Number 3 is a 340-yard par 4 with a creek crossing the fairway about 240 yards off the tee. The wind continued to get stronger as we teed off on 3. I hit a 5-iron down the left side of the fairway, however the ball kicked straight left when it landed, mostly due to the wind, and rolled out of the fairway near the penalty area. I had a restricted backswing but was able to get the ball over the creek about 30 yards short of the green. My wedge shot from there came up just short of the green, about 15 feet from the hole. I chipped up a foot from the hole and tapped in for a bogey, 5. Number 4 is a 136-yard par 3 with a very deep and narrow green, and a creek that crosses in front of the tee box and wraps around the left side of the green. The wind was really gusting as we got up to hit on this hole. I hit a 7-iron as the wind was in our face and across from right to left, probably at least 20 miles per hour. My shot ended up just down the hill right of the green. I chipped up the hill to about 8 feet short of the hole and made the putt for a par.
Good job, babe.
Number 5 is a 470 slight dogleg right par 5 with trees all the way down the right side and a creek which crosses in front of the green. I hit driver and pushed it into the trees right of the fairway, about 250 yards out. I was able to punch a 5-iron through the trees and ended up near the cart path right of the fairway, about 100 yards out. My gap wedge from there ended up on the green, about 8 feet short of the hole. At this point, the wind became so strong that when I went to replace my ball after marking it on the green, the ball would not stay still. I had to replace the ball 3 times before I could get it to stay in that spot. I probably rushed the putt a little trying to make sure it did not move again. I missed the putt and tapped in for a par. Number 6 is a 317-yard par 4 with a creek that crosses the fairway about 250 yards off the tee. The green is a very wide, shallow one with 2 bunkers that guard the front of the green. At this point, the wind was probably blowing steadily around 30 miles per hour. I hit a really good drive down the center of the fairway, which ended up about 110 yards out. I hit my approach shot too high, and the ball soared in the air and ended up barely over the creek. My dad told me off afterwards that he thought the ball was actually over the middle of the green at one point, and the wind blew it back short of the green. I hit a wedge up onto the green about 8 feet past the hole and missed the putt for a tap-in bogey. Number 7 is a 474-yard par 5 with a lake down the left side of the hole beginning about 275 yards off the tee and extending all the way to the left side of the green. The wind continued to blow hard as we teed off. I hit a good drive down the middle of the fairway about 240 yards from the green. From the fairway, I hit a 3 hybrid that had a slight draw on it. The wind magnified the draw and knocked the ball down, and it kicked into the lake on the left. After dropping near the penalty area, I hit a wedge up onto the very front of the green, leaving a 50 to 60 foot putt. My first putt ended up about 4 feet left and past the hole. I missed the putt and ended up with a double bogey. Number 8 is a 116-yard par 3 with a creek that crosses in the front of the tee and extends along the left side of the green. The wind continued to blow hard in my face and left to right. As I got ready to hit, the wind appeared to ease up. However, it still pushed my ball right of the green and into the creek. After dropping near the penalty area, I chunked a wedge shot short of the green, then chipped up about 2 feet past the hole and made the putt for a double bogey. Number 9 is a 370-yard par 4 with a lake running down the entire right side of the hole and a fairway bunker about 210 yards off the left side of the fairway. The wind continued to blow hard in my face. I hit a solid drive down the middle of the fairway about 155 yards out. From there, I hit a 5-iron onto the green about 15 feet past the hole. I made a solid 2-putt from there for a tough par. I ended up with a 79. I had not been hitting my driver as well as normal recently, but hit 10 of the 13 fairways on a pretty tight course. I hit 10 out of 18 greens and had 32 putts. While I was not happy with the 79, which put me in second place going into the second round, I did feel pretty well about the way I played most of the round. The wind was definitely a huge factor over the last few holes. It was probably as strong a wind as I have ever played, in which is saying a lot since I live in Dallas. I definitely need to continue to work on controlling my ball flight for days like this, where the wind is strong.